Hey everyone, Festool finally released an updated edge guide for the OF1010 router, but it doesn't end there as this is also compatible with the MFK 700. And let me just say, as far as the OF1010 is concerned, this is so much better than the edge guide that they had on the market before. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is the first time that I've seen this kind of packaging from Festool on an accessory or tool. So it's a little different than the clear plastic that I'm used to, but this is the SA-OF 1010 MFK. Parallel side fence, edge guide, tomato, and inside you'll see that really just kind of two things in here. So we have the edge guide itself, and I'll give you a little bit more of an overview of that in a moment, as well as two of the rods, which are identical to the rods that come with the OF 1010. So always nice to kind of have that other set there. I'll throw them in the sustainer, but in the meantime, I'll just be using the ones that came with the OF 1010. All right, so now just taking a quick look at the edge guide itself. So you'll see two different positions for threading these rods through. So for the OF 1010, we'll be using these outer ones. Just get those through, lock them down, super easy. And if you're using the MFK 700, you would be using the inside holes. So you just basically move these knobs over to that. And nice that they have that kind of flexibility built in. This is also compatible not just with the OF 1010, also the OF 1010R, which is what I have. The refresh one, which also has the light, which is the same as kind of the REQ that I have. But it also is compatible with the MFK 700, as I mentioned, as well as the OF 900 and OF 1000. So really nice to have that level of compatibility across a lot of their older routers. And I think for those of us that did have the old fence for the OF 1010, I wish I still had it, but I did end up returning it because it was just so expensive for what it was. It was $73 Canadian plus $48 for the fine adjust. So I'm $120 for the other fence that was available, whereas this with the rods and the fence is $90 Canadian or $69 US. And I think that is a very fair price for an accessory like this from Festool. So made out of die cast material, kind of really nice heavy duty plastic that you're used to from Festool. And yeah, overall build quality is quite good. A different fine adjust than I have encountered on other Festool tools, but it does have these markings in there. And I was measuring in one full rotation. So from 0 all the way around back to 0 is 1 millimeter. So it's really nice to kind of have that 0.1 millimeter of precision and then being able to lock it down. So that works pretty well. Another welcome adjustment with this is these, the sliding fence right there. So you can move those, lock them down. And this is something that the other fence definitely lacked. And it was a lot smaller and just didn't feel quite as good overall. One fence that I really did like was the Bosch RA1054, I believe it was, and I have a video on that. Not compatible with the Festool router, but it was a phenomenal fence for Bosch routers and a couple of other brands it actually worked pretty well in, but it was an absolute steal. But this feels much more like that, just a little smaller, but feels pretty good. And just to show you what I've been using in the meantime for a fence, so I've been using the CRB7 from Empower with the fence attachment. And this is a whole system. They make a lot of different accessories that mount to this CRB7 base, whether you want to do like hinges, mortises, compass it, like you can use it as a compass. There's a whole bunch of different things that you can do with the CRB7. I've meant to put out a video because I do have basically all the accessories for this router system. I just haven't gotten around to it yet, but I have been using this for a couple of years and it's been okay. It's great for a lot of the other features, but I say that the auxiliary fence or the fence that you can attach, it's been fine. But something where it is a little cumbersome to just, I can't just throw this in the sustainer and go to a job site or go work another place around here. Whereas this is just gonna have kind of a nice home in the sustainer. And the majority of the work that I do, this edge guide will be able to do a little easier than the CRB7. But definitely check this out. I'll leave a couple links in the description below to check this out. So getting this hooked up to the OF 1010 is trivial. Basically slide it in, position it where you want, lock it down with those knobs. There's two of them. And something that I did want to note, so let's just kind of get this to max distance. Something that I didn't like about the other one, before this model came out. So let's get max distance there, lock it down. Let's also get max distance here. Was this, I think that, and I wasn't working in metric at the time, but I think it was about 1 1/8 inches or probably about 25, 26 millimeters from kind of the fence to the center of the bit. So let me just grab a ruler, and to the center of the bit on this one, we're more like 85 millimeters. So a little, like more than triple the distance from the center of the bit to the fence, whereas when you had the fine adjust attached to the previous OF1010 edge guide from Festool, you were quite limited with the distance that you were able to get. So this is a very welcome improvement and something that is going to be really helpful for me when I do dados that are kind of set in potentially that far. All right, so before doing a test cut, let's just talk a little bit about dust collection compatibility, because I think this is something that a lot of people have questions about. So when it does come to using this shroud on the bottom, it is fully compatible with this. So basically you just have to make sure that you have these slid over to the sides to accommodate that, but works pretty well. So there will be times when you won't be able to use this, just depending on when you need, like how you need to position the fence. But I think the majority of the time it's going to work well. The other thing that they do have, although I don't believe it's available in North America yet, is a total like shroud that goes on here and then connects to dust extraction over here. I feel like it's the same as like 1400 edge guide. Anyways, I don't quite know, but they do sell an accessory kit in Europe that comes with a lot of OF1010 accessories, most of which I already have, so I don't think I'll be buying that kit. But it's essentially this big shroud that attaches on there, which would be awesome. If that comes to North America as a standalone unit, I will definitely be buying it. Okay, so I'm all set up here just to do a quick little test cut. Just gonna do a little bit of a dado, and here we go. Here we go. Actually, that was a rabbet, not a dado, but yeah, worked out well. Edge guide edged, kept things parallel, and the dust collection was amazing. So being able to just kind of have this, let me just disconnect the power. I don't accidentally turn it on, but being able to have that shroud on there was definitely really helpful in kind of getting that nice rabbet there. So there you have it. That's kind of my first impressions and formal review of the OF1010 fence, the brand new OF1010 fence from Festool. And it's awesome that it's also compatible with the MFK 700 as well as a lot of the other older routers kind of in this size range. So the build quality is pretty good. The adjustability is great. The flexibility is so much better than the previous OF1010 edge guide / parallel fence. So I think that if you have an OF1010, or I'm not exactly sure how you would use this with the MFK 700. I don't have one. I know it's mostly used for edge banding, but I think that this is something that should find its way into your sustainer. I think that for $90 Canadian or $69 US, this is pretty good value, even if you do consider a little bit of that Festool tax there. It's not quite as robust as the Bosch RA1054 that I had for my Bosch router system before, but I think as far as Festool is concerned, pretty good value, and it is quite robust for kind of those needs. So I did like my CRB7, and I'm going to keep it because there's so many other functions with the CRB7. But as far as kind of the typical use of an edge guide or parallel fence, the Festool one is going to be my go-to. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment in the description below about your thoughts on this fence, or if you had the other OF1010 fence, let me know what your thoughts were on that. And stay tuned for more videos soon. I promise they'll be coming.